What's going on, guys? And today I'm doing a quick rebuilding video for the first time in quite a while. And while this video is 27 minutes long, you might be thinking that's not quick. What I mean by this is I am doing a CSB inspired way. I don't know if you know who CSB is, but he's probably the most popular guy right now in terms of doing these rebuilds, where instead of doing my other series with the Lakers where I go game by game individually, very small, micromanaging everything, I go a more general view where I just make trades and I try to win a title within 3 years. And I am using the Philadelphia 76ers, and yeah, so I haven't done one of these, especially one at this length, in probably 2 years. I think my first ones were in 2K15, where they were pretty long, like these, 20-25 minutes plus, but I haven't done that in a while, so why not get it started? So first things first, I'm looking at shipping away Nerlens Noel. This is trying to keep it with what's like in real life, where they're trying to get rid of Noel, it seems, more than anyone else. And right there I traded him away with 2 picks, and the thing is I don't use picks this early into the season because most of the teams and the draft classes are pretty terrible and unrealistic. But I ended up trading away Nerlens Noel and a couple picks for Eric Bledsoe and a random pick, and then I traded away Hollis Thompson and a couple more picks I picked up in return for Avery Bradley. Now right here I'm trying to get rid of other guys on my team that seem a little redundant at this point, or that just don't have quite a great fit, in Covington and Sergio Rodriguez, and I am trading these two away for Josh Richardson and Wayne Ellington, 2 shooting guards who are pretty good shooters, and Josh Richardson has tons of potential, so I really like this trade. Now to clear up all the white guys on my team, I'm getting rid of Nick Stauskas and TJ McConnell. Both guys aren't really useful for me. I don't like either of their play styles in this game, and I just feel like they're not suited to my future with the 76ers. So I trade them away for Darrell Arthur and Jameer Nelson. Jameer Nelson's a very solid veteran point guard, and Darrell Arthur is there for some sweet shooting at the 4 spot. We don't have a lot of that, as we have a lot of guys who focus in the paint. Of course, in real life, Joel Embiid can shoot threes, and he's currently leading the league at 67% from deep as of right now of making this video. And I know it's not sustainable, but in this game they also did not have Joel have a really good shot, even from mid-range. It seems to be over a few years he does develop a 3-pointer, but it's like a D- to a D, so nothing really super special. But anyways, as we're getting started, I want to talk a little bit about those trades. Now, spoiler alert, I mean this is even a spoiler, I believe one of those trades, I don't remember exactly which one, it might have been the first one with Eric Bledsoe, where it was like some really weird pick swap in the future. That one ended up becoming super valuable. This was like, well, let me just say this. What happens was I rebuilt this team. You're going to see me rebuild them to a champion. However, what I did was I really liked the team, how I built it, so I simmed a couple more years. And that pick ended up being the #1 overall pick, and I got some guy from like Marquette. I mean, it's always completely random, but this guy was like some random guy from Marquette who was like an amazing shooter, came with like an A+3, and by his 3rd year in the league he averaged like 27 and like 12, and he was on my team, which had a lot of really good playmakers as well, and it was really incredible to see, and he was a superstar and he really helped our team. But anyways, let's talk about the current team. So for the most part, I wanted to stick around the core of Embiid and Simmons. Those are probably my 2 favorite guys in the NBA right now. Well, not my absolute favorites, but 2 of them. And on the team, I feel like those are the 2 most talented. I kept Jahlil Okafor, as I feel like he can be something special too, and he does develop very well in this game into basically what, like a combo of a Brook Lopez and an Al Jefferson at their absolute peaks, where like down low scoring, they're nearly unstoppable, but he becomes a solid rebounder, never above like 9 rebounds a game, but like a decent one, which you get with Brook Lopez. But the thing is, he gets a decent amount of shot blocks as well, just around 2, which puts him at like the Al Jefferson range, so he's not like the best overall, but I mean he's very solid, and he's always a great shooter, and he actually develops a 3-point shot, which is really surprising. I don't think I put him to a single perimeter shooting training camp, but by the last time I played with him, in terms of what you're going to see in this video, he actually is able to hit threes pretty consistently and has a decent percentage. And I'm going to be showing you guys pretty quickly the stats at the end of the season. I never did that before, I'm pretty sure, so why not change it up? Because I was pretty interested as well to see how guys such as Simmons and Embiid and Okafor and Eric Bledsoe, how they'll do. But right now my starting lineup is really solid with pretty much an all defensive lineup, where we have, starting at the 1 and 2, we have Bledsoe and Avery Bradley, two guys who are usually on the all defensive team, and if not on the all defensive team, are recognized for being two of the better defensive guards in the league. Simmons, who can rack up a lot of steals and blocks, and I think that's one of his strong suits coming into the NBA, is he can be pretty great defensively, considering the fact that he's about 6'10", 240, and he's one of the most athletic players we've seen since, I don't know, maybe LeBron. And some people might not believe that, but he does have a 44-inch vertical. I'm pretty sure that was at like his draft or pro day. And then throw in the fact that he's just built like an absolute tank, and I think he'd be really special at the defensive end. And then we have other guys on the team like Saric, who's not that great defensively. And right there you see Ben Simmons, actually did win Rookie of the Year. And then we have Embiid, who's very solid. But we have a lot of guys off the bench, like Jeremy Grant, I think it is, on my team. It's one of the Grant brothers, who's a really good shot blocker and defender as well. But anyways, as we are going, I am showing you the awards. And as you saw, Ben Simmons did win Rookie of the Year, which is not too surprising. I was expecting him to do that. No one makes an all-NBA team for me, which is a little upsetting. However, we do get a couple guys on the all-rookie teams, which is I'm really happy about that. And you can see it right here. I get two guys on the first team with Saric and Ben Simmons, and Saric actually develops very well. And Embiid made the second team. He's slightly hurt. I don't know what it was. Oh, a broken nose, which, I mean, that's nothing. He comes back very quickly from that. Nothing to worry about. And we end up having a very solid season. I believe we were 43 and 39. So I'm showing you right here all the accolades that we picked up in the 2017 season. I don't think it was really that much besides a couple guys on the rookie teams. But right here, I'm going to show you the stats as well. I had a pretty good season with a lot of players, as you see right here. Bledsoe averaged almost a block and a half per game. Avery Bradley was a good shooter for me. Ben Simmons, look at that, almost a double-double. Jahlil Okafor, really good scoring and super efficient, and shot almost 32% from deep. Embiid didn't play too much as he was off the bench for most of the year. Saric was pretty solid as well, getting some rebounds, getting some assists. Josh Richardson just stretching out the floor. Jared Bayless, who I don't really like too much on this team at this point since I got a lot of point guards. Henderson, Jeremy Grant, oh yeah, I was right, it was Jeremy. Jameer Nelson not playing much at all. Wayne Ellington, same issue with him. And Rashawn Holmes didn't play a single minute, as well as Timothé Luwawu-Cabarrot. I need to get those guys more minutes in the future, but as of right now, we're working on just development of our stars, or future stars, in terms of Simmons, Embiid, Okafor, Saric, those type of people. Oh, and of course Bledsoe. But the thing is, we actually are doing really well. We end up upsetting the Detroit Pistons, making it to the conference semifinals, where we're going up against the Bulls. It's a game 7. We end up losing, but still, this is pretty impressive from winning only 10 games to make it to the conference semifinals, as the Golden State Warriors beat the Cavaliers once again. And when we're going to the offseason, I'm looking at some team and player options right now. Of course, I'm accepting all those guys at the top, but I was really thinking about Rashawn Holmes. I like him a lot in real life, just because he's what I think of like the prototypical big man. So I give him his player or team option, and he ends up staying on my team for another year. And I'm looking for a backup point guard, so I end up signing Dennis Schroeder, Victor Oladipo, Otto Porter, and Doug McDermott to contracts. Now, not all of them are going to accept it, as you see right here. Dennis Schroeder accepts it, while Victor Oladipo goes to the T-Wolves and Porter stays with the Wizards. But I do get Doug McDermott as well, who's really good for my team. Now I'm sending some guys to some camps. I'm sending Jahlil Okafor to big man offense, just to make sure he's going to be like a superstar down there. And I send Ben Simmons to three-point shooting or perimeter shooting, because that's one weakness in this game. Now I'm getting rid of Jameer Nelson and Jared Bayless for John Lure, a guy who I like a lot because he has really like legitimate range. He's pretty athletic. He can do everything for me. Plus, he's not a huge like ego guy, at least in real life it seems to be, so he can play off the bench for quite a while, and there won't be much issues. Of course, this is more prevalent if I did a My GM series, but who cares? I really like John Lure as well, and I think he would fit really well, as I need a lot of shooting around guys like Ben Simmons and Jahlil, as neither of them are able to shoot. Yes, I did show you that I'm putting him to with a three-point or perimeter shooting. And another thing that I had to say, when I kept on simulating, one year he shot in the mid-40s from deep, Ben Simmons, and it wasn't on small attempts, it was like on legitimate attempts, which is really surprising. But then he just tanked back down to low 20s. And the thing about Okafor, yes, he does hit some threes, but I really don't trust him to be a legitimate three-point shooter. So that's why I like John Lewis coming off the bench and stretching the floor and just doing whatever I need him to do. So going into the second season, I have similar aspirations as before. Just keep on improving. I don't care if we win the title this year. If you haven't watched my videos, I've always said my cutoff is 3 years. If I can't rebuild the team in 3 years, I didn't do a good enough job, and I don't post the video, and I don't really count it as a rebuild. Some teams are much easier. I believe in 2K15, I did the Bulls, and I won back-to-back titles after barely doing anything, because that year, for some reason, the Bulls were amazing, where Derrick Rose seemed to never get injured, and your team was just always going to do well. However, that's not the case, as you see so far, as we didn't make the playoffs and made the second round for our team, but it doesn't seem like we are being a super team right now. I mean, we're pretty good. We're 29-22, making it 30-22. We have good chemistry, good fan interest, and we're always floating around that 5 seed, and I'm pretty happy about that. Now, talking about the 76ers in real life, I am a Portland fan, and I do like Boston as well as my top 2 favorite teams. But the thing is, I really like Philadelphia for many, many different reasons. I love Sam Hinkie. I thought his idea was great. Some issues I did not like. Joel Embiid was a great pick. Nerlens was a great trade. I mean, that was kind of a dick move since they knew that Drew Holiday was hurt. But they ended up getting something out of it, which just shows how great they are at negotiating, getting what they want. Jaleel was a little questionable because the fact that they already had a ton of centers, and you're starting to see the issues arise right now, but I don't feel like that was a Hinkie pick. I feel like that was more of a management/NBA pick. If you're wondering, management/NBA pick, what are you talking about? Well, the NBA was the reason why Sam Hinkie was eventually pushed out for the Colangelos, where they had to put Colangelo in a spot that made it terrible for Hinkie. Yada, 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 you got it. The one thing I really hated that he did was get rid of KJ McDaniels, one of my favorite guys to watch when he was a rookie, just spike shots and just hit up big dunks. But besides that, I like Hinkie a lot. We finished with 47-35 record. LeBron wins MVP, close to triple-double. This guy Josh Jinks on Boston averages 20 points as a rookie and looks pretty solid. Kent Bazemore wins 6th Man of the Year. DeAndre Jordan wins Defensive Player of the Year with almost 3 blocks a game. Cameron Payne wins Most Improved Player. I don't like him too much, but he seems to win it quite often. And Ron Adams somehow becomes the coach of the Warriors and wins Coach of the Year. Now, looking at the All-NBA teams, Kevin Durant actually went to the Phoenix Suns, which is really surprising. But we don't have any guy on an All-NBA team once again. I'm a little upset by that. However, we are improving, and that's the main thing I care about at this point. Showing you a little bit of this, these stats and these accolades. As you can see right here, nothing too new or too much at all, but I'm going to show you their stats, and they're all pretty good as well for another season. Ben Simmons is doing really well, averaged 13 and 11. He's starting to hit threes. I mean, he's only at 19%, but it's better than 0%. Jaleel Okafor still improving, still doing pretty well. Joel Embiid kind of stagnates for a while, mainly because he doesn't play enough minutes. Schroeder is great off the bench for me, and I'm surprised that I even got him. Sarge does decently well with a 12, 8, and 4 stat line, and looked like. Josh Richardson shooting threes, Doug McDermott stretching the floor, Jeremy Grant just for blocking shots and getting rebounds. And then you see right here, Timothé Luau and Rashawn Holmes both get the first NBA minutes. Of course, it's nothing really special. It's only 1 minute in an entire season. I feel kind of bad for them, as I feel like they're pretty special players. But I'm really focusing on a title now and really improving my most important players. And right here, we beat the Bulls, a mini upset. We were the 5 seed, I believe. But the best thing is the Orlando Magic actually upset the Cleveland Cavaliers after LeBron won the MVP, which had almost never happened in real life. But we're going on to the conference finals up against the Toronto Raptors. I feel somewhat confident about beating them and making it to the NBA Finals this year. However, we don't end up doing it. They start to pull away. We had a 3-2 lead, and they end up pulling away. And I do Simcast right here. I'm sorry that I kind of ruined it, and I thought that I cut out most of this. So I'm just simulating it, and I was kind of hoping for us to win. But towards the end, it just seemed inevitable that we were going to lose, and I really didn't want to push my team to just kind of squeaky out a win just to get destroyed by the Warriors, or probably get destroyed by the Warriors. Anyways, I simulate the finals, and the Toronto Raptors actually win their first ever NBA title behind Kyle Lowry, getting some great stats. And right here, we are accepting and declining more player and team options. Darrell Arthur actually accepts his player option for a lot of money. and I get pick up Rashawn Holmes once again, just because of the fact that at $1 million, he's cheaper and probably better than a lot of guys that I can pick up around the NBA later on when the free agency is like dwindling down. So I offer a lot of these guys contracts, and the thing is, a lot of them accept it, except for some reason there's an issue with Joel Embiid that when I try to sign him to a contract, it gives me some error where he doesn't fit underneath the salary cap, which makes no sense because he's a restricted free agent, so I can sign him to any deal I want to. But anyways, he ends up accepting his qualifying offer, and we pick up all the guys we had before, nothing too special, but I'm sending Ben Simmons once again to the three-point shooting camp and perimeter shooting camp. Eric Bledsoe is going to perimeter shooting as well. I'm throwing Jahlil Okafor to rebounding, as his rebounding is a little too low for me, but it's not a huge issue. Now I'm looking at some more guys who can be pretty useful off my bench. So I picked up DeLon Wright from Utah on a minimum deal. He's been in the NBA for, I believe, 1 season in real life and like 3 in the simulation. I picked up JaVale McGee, the former Sixer. Yes, he was on the Sixers for, I don't know, a very short period of time after the Nuggets gave him away to them. But we are starting up the 3rd season. We're doing pretty terrible. We are 1-4 at our absolute worst, and 2-5 is not looking much better. And we are just really struggling out of the gate. However, I believe in my team because we have a really talented team. I really like all the players on my team at this point. Sarge is the one guy maybe I should have let go a little bit earlier. So I'm not a huge fan of him in real life and in terms of how he plays in NBA 2K. But the thing is, it doesn't matter. We do pretty solid nonetheless. So as I'm signaling this season, this is my championship or bust season. As I said earlier, if I don't win a title within 3 years, it's not considered a rebuild in my eyes. I know some people like to extend it and maybe see the more nuanced stuff, and that's what my other rebuilding series is for. However, when I'm doing these quick rebuilds, which I mean is the best name for it, I'm saying 3 years or less. If it's longer than that and I'm going 5-6 seasons, I don't really consider it a win, as almost any team can win in 5 or 6 seasons. 3 is a little bit more difficult because usually you might not have your picks. Say if you're the Brooklyn Nets, you don't have your picks and your future's kind of screwed in jeopardy. So I would like to make it a little bit more challenging for myself and everyone else. And why not? You know, it's pretty fun and I do pretty well with it. Anyways, we hit a hot streak in the middle of the season, and now we're at 31-17, 32-17, and continually improving. We're doing super well, and I'm happy about that. We are always around 3 or 4 in the conference. My bad. Well, leading the division in record-wise. The Atlantic Division isn't super special at this point, besides maybe the Toronto Raptors, as I believe the Celtics start to fall off. Actually, the Celtics are pretty solid as well. Behind that guy, Josh Jinks, I mentioned earlier, there was actually a trade. I could have traded for him, and I didn't because I hate having computer-generated guys on my team. I kind of regret it a little bit. But then again, as I said about 2 seconds ago, I hate having computer-generated guys on my team. As for the reason why you always see me trading away my draft picks. Because the thing is, if this was real life, I would be super inclined to keep my draft picks. And later on, if I do these videos into like, I don't know, March-ish, I'll start doing the ones where I use actual draft classes, as that's when it starts to be more realistic, the drafts, compared to right now where it's basically just high school recruiting 2.0, where if you're a top 10 recruit, you're going to be a top 10 pick, and more often than not, that's not how it happens. If you look back at a lot of the high school recruiting, which is pretty cool, you see on Basketball Reference, a lot of those guys who are top 15 or 20 end up not doing much in college. It's not like a knock on them, but it's just in reality, and that's why I don't like having it. Anyways, we finished with a 51-31 record, finishing 3rd in the East, a pretty solid mark. Right there, Russell Westbrook averages almost a triple-double with 3 steals per game. Chris Bosh was 6th man of the year. Anthony Davison's Defense Player of the Year. Pat McCaw wins Most Improved Player with not so great stats, but Ron Adams wins Coach of the Year once again, showing you the All-NBA teams. And I don't know if this glitches, but every once in a while, it'll show you the All-NBA first team followed by the rookie teams. It's kind of weird, but we get our first guy on an All-NBA team in Ben Simmons making the All-NBA 3rd team, and Eric Bledsoe actually makes All-Defensive 2nd team. So pretty special for me, and I'm going to be showing you their stats. As you see right there, he was also an All-Star this year. Bledsoe actually did make a defensive team. Dario Saric actually was an all-star, which I was surprised by, as he didn't have great enough stats, in my opinion, to warrant an all-star appearance. Maybe he had a hot first half. But right here you see Ben Simmons averaging 14, 11, and 7. Pretty good numbers. Jaleel improving at 17 and 8 and hitting threes at not a great clip, but enough to be respectable. Avery Bradley isn't doing too much, but Joel Embiid almost averaging a double-double and starting to hit threes. Sarge right there averaged 13, 9, and 4. Nothing too surprising or too great. But as I'm showing you the rest of my team, I was surprised that other guys on my team didn't make it to the All-Star team, such as Okafor or Bledsoe, as both of those guys, in my opinion, are better than Saric. But you know, what happens. We got 2 All-Stars. We got a guy on the All-NBA third team, so can't complain too much about that. So we're simulating the playoffs. We're going up against the Atlanta Hawks in the first round. And I don't know who's on the Hawks at this point. I know, as I mentioned earlier, I keep on mentioning simulating further. They ended up getting this guy that looked basically like the next LeBron. He was like 24 years old and he was a 97 overall. And he averaged like a triple-double with 4 steals and 2 blocks per game and like crazy shooter. Like literally LeBron on like crack cocaine. It was incredible. I should have probably simulated and showed that kind of stuff because I thought that was more interesting than most of this rebuild. I mean, some of this is interesting, but seeing guys like that and just computer generated, it's pretty cool. I hate saying computer generated it because it feels like, you know, I'm stuttering and now I'm just bullshitting about whatever. However, let's get back into the video. We end up winning a game using SimCast, which I love this feature, and we end up making it to the second round of the playoffs, going up against the Boston Celtics, a team that had barely a better record than us, that had 3 more wins. But we're simulating, and we're doing solid enough. However, we are down 3-2, so I gotta use a SimCast once again. And you'll notice I pause and unpause quite often, and I noticed a couple years ago that seems to fix a lot of issues on your team, like where you'll do that and then for some reason like your team will go on like a short run and then another short run. So maybe it's a glitch or maybe it's just pure coincidence or I'm overlooking the small things, but in my opinion I think it works. Right here I saw something super sad. You might have caught a little quick glimpse of it. Ben Simmons is hurt. He is out for the season. I believe he broke his knee or something. So yeah, it kind of sucks, as Ben Simmons is one of my favorite players to watch in the game and to use, quite frankly. The other day I was playing one of my friends and I was using the Sixers and I forgot who he was using, but I ended up dropping a triple-double with Ben Simmons because he's an absolute animal. Had like 14, 12, and like 14. A great guy to use. But anyways, we end up beating the Celtics and we're going up against the Cavaliers. I believe this is game 7 and this is a do or die moment. So if I don't win this one right here, the season is basically over, and I failed my rebuild. As you see right here, actually it's only a game 6. However, we are getting it started. I know I kind of cut that off too quickly, but nothing came of that steal. So as we are trying to win this game, the Cleveland Cavaliers are doing way too good for me. Right there you saw LeBron have that nice little outlet pass, or the pass out to the 3-point line. However, I'm coming back and I'm doing well. As you saw, Jaleel Okafor, my bad, get that nice little layup, followed by Doug McDermott cut into the paint and getting a nice little layup. Now, I do a lot of these off-ball cuts, and if you watch any of my videos, I talk about it almost every single video, frankly because it works really well. Joel Embiid got a nice little dunk in the paint right there. However, we have no interior defense right now, it seems to be, even though we have some of the better interior defenders in the game, especially with Joel Embiid, as LeBron has a nice little floater. But right here, Avery Bradley gets a nice little layup as his defender completely forgets about him. And Tristan Thompson tries to go for some sort of layup. It doesn't work. I pass out to Doug McDermott, and he just takes up a shot just so they can't foul him. And yeah, we are tied up at game 7 right now. As I mentioned earlier, I completely forgot about that part. However, it is game 7. I'm going up against the Cavaliers. We're having a steady lead all the way through. We make it to the NBA Finals versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. So right here, I do this a lot where I rebuild the rotations because you never know. Some guys might be fatigued. Some guys might be hurt. You never know. So I do that quite often to make sure that everything goes well for my team. Anyways, we are simulating some games, and we're up 3-2 right now on the Oklahoma City Thunder. So I got to throw it into SimCast, and hopefully it goes well for me. Now, this first game, it says that Sarge is injured, even though when I went to go check afterwards, it was like a minor injury that wouldn't really impact him. I was maybe like, I don't know, like a bruised like arm or something like that. It was basically nothing important, so it was kind of weird. and apparently I didn't fix it, but who cares? We are simcasting Game 7, baby, going up against the Oklahoma City Thunder, and I'm just pausing and unpausing because I'm getting a little nervous right here. They're coming back. It's a 2-point game. You know what? Gotta take matters into my own hands. We are up 2 at OKC right now, and they're trying to inbound the ball, and I'm kind of freaking out because the thing is, my bad. Russell Westbrook is an absolute animal, and as I mentioned earlier, Jahlil Okafor can actually shoot threes, as I made it right there, and I was really surprised by that. But even though I'm nervous of Russell Westbrook, Eric Bledsoe is still a savage, picking the ball straight from Campaign's hands. Again, a nice little dunk in the paint. And right here, I'm doing some nice off-ball cutting, and Doug McDermott gets a nice little one-handed standing dunk in the paint for a pretty solid lead. And right there, I believe that was Alex Abrines hit that crazy shot somehow. It doesn't really matter though. We are up 6, but we do end up winning the NBA Finals. Yes, you heard it right. The Philadelphia 76ers win the NBA Finals in 2019 on some crazy playing by a lot of guys. Even though there's tons of injuries, we upset a lot of teams on the way here, and I'm pretty happy about it. I absolutely hate Dennis Schroeder's little rug haircut, wherever the hell that is, right there, the little bleach action. But what I gotta say is we still won the title. I'm pretty sure they haven't changed the animations for winning the title in quite a few years, as this looks very similar. However, it doesn't matter. I don't care. We won the title. I'm pretty happy about this. This is one of my more favorite rebuilds doing, basically because I cut out a lot of the parts where I just go into the gym and I just freestyle. And I just go in there with Ben Simmons and I just like taking like step backs with him. I know he bricks a lot of those step backs because he has terrible ratings, but he has a really nice dunk package as well. And he's so much fun to use in the game with his flashy passes and throwing the fact that he's almost 7 feet tall and weighing almost 250 pounds. And he is basically a mini LeBron, or, well, I mean, he's a little bit bigger than LeBron height-wise, but basically a LeBron Jr. Now, Jahlil Okafor is holding up that trophy, and he looks like, I don't even know, a banana in his hands. He is one monster of a human being. So he wins, actually, Finals MVP, averaging 20 points and 10 rebounds per game, and shooting 50% from deep. I believe he probably only hit that one that I showed you right there, maybe missed one other one. But anyways, guys, that is my rebuilding of the Philadelphia 76ers. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, definitely give me a thumbs up. Comment down below if you would like more of these videos, and if you do, what team I should do next. I'm thinking, excuse me, I'm thinking maybe the Suns. I'm not too sure. Nothing has to be solidified just yet, but definitely let me know. I'm showing you the final stats for my entire team, and yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. To thank you guys for watching, of course. This was a long video, and hopefully you enjoyed it. So thank you guys for watching, and of course, have a good day.